and the Junior Board of Directors is proud to support Faribault Community Television.
Hello Faribault, Nort Johnson here. Might be tough to see, but Nort with your Chamber of Commerce. Glad to be with you today. Thank you, Troy. I've got a lot of great things happening, even though there are some challenging times right now. I'm going to hit on one quick one. I want to make sure everyone's aware we're continuing with our Business Awards program. This year's luncheon is going to be Thursday, October 1st at the American Legion. It will allow for the right kind of distancing that we want to have for that kind of event. Awards, again, in Excellence in Education, our Customer Service Award, our Legacy Awards, and our new COVID Response and Community Resilience Awards. So we're pretty fired up about our Business Awards out of the Chamber. We celebrate yearly. And it's always a great time to get together. You may have noticed I've got a colleague with me today. I'd like to introduce to my Faribault friends our Northfield Chamber counterpart, Lisa Peterson.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Of course.
I'm smiling.
I'm smiling as well. So one of the things we're going to quick talk about are the new mini road trip gift checks. You may have all been aware each of our communities have different types of gift check and gift voucher coupons that Chambers of Commerce use for incentives. Employers can use them for employees. People give them for family gifts. I've seen that. Also Christmas bonus gifts, things of that nature. Well, we rolled out a very specific program. Lisa, do you want to introduce it?
I do. This is the mini road trip food tour. And so you can purchase your mini road trip gift checks. They are good at any number of Northfield, Faribault, or Owatonna restaurants. The checks they look just like this. They've got our car on them. They're awesome. And so you can purchase these for your friends, family, yourself, and then you can spend them at any one of these great locations.
A couple of notes on, thank you. Mm-hmm. Awesome rundown. A couple of notes on these bad boys. They're wonderful for the businesses because there are no fees involved. Mm-hmm. So unlike most gift cards that are redeemed at a business, there's anywhere from a 2 to 6% fee that's taken off of the value. These are purchased for face value and they're redeemed at face value for our businesses. So we really appreciate that. They're very easy for businesses to redeem. It's a genuine check. It's got the original document watermarks on them, and they just deposit it just like you would any other check. So really happy with that program. I would be remiss in my appreciation for our Faribault businesses if I didn't share that Harry Brown's Family Automotive is matching up to the first $20,000 of these that are purchased. They're purchasing that many and they're giving them away for people to use in restaurants in all three communities, Northfield, Owatonna, and Faribault. Fantastic program. Another example of the cooperation between our three communities. Too bad we don't have Brad or Karen here from Owatonna. They're going to be so jealous they missed the filming with all the masks on.
Exactly.
But the mini road trip, that's our three community marketing brand. It's award winning. We've won 2 major awards for branding as well as for special projects. With that, all of our communities contribute from our marketing funds to make that happen, and it's been a great tool for us. And this is just one more tool in our toolbox to help keep businesses strong in all three of our communities.
Nora, where can I buy these checks?
Well, these checks are available at any one of the 3 chambers of commerce. There are pre-printed denominations, and they are
At Northfield, we have $10 denominations and $20 denominations.
Those are what they have in Owatonna as well right now. But you can put in an order for whatever denominations you want. If you want to, we've sent out several $50 ones. Ritchie Eye Clinic bought nearly $3,000 worth of these that they're using as incentives for employees and for giveaways. They just think it's wonderful. Obviously, they have a clinic in Northfield as well. It's been just a great tool to show your support and appreciation for members of your staff as well as customers. So
it's just another great way to keep your dollars local too and help your neighbors.
Absolutely. And again, there's no fees for the businesses. Face value, that's what they get redeemed for. So come and see us at any of the 3 chambers of commerce in the 3 communities to get caught up on the mini road trip gift check program. Couple quick other notes from the Faribault perspective. Our benches are out and downtown. They've been in the works for 3 years, and they're the custom Faribault made benches. MRG did the manufacturing on them, and the other big contributor in the manufacturing for these bad boys, Mercury, Minnesota. They did the powder coating and assembly, and they're just gorgeous. Other partners, Jeff Jarvis helped with the creative on these, as well as Sue Garwood at the Rice County Historical Society. They're fantastic. There are over 20 of these in the Historic District. Go find them and read the stories. They're wonderful. Let's see. I'm going to stop there. I think we probably burned up more time than we were allotted. Lots of good news, good things going on here out of your hardworking chambers of commerce. So thank you, Faribault. Thank you, Troy.
Thank you.
And stay sanitized.
Hello, my name is Delane James, Director of Buckle Memorial Library. Today, I am at the Friends Organic Learning Garden outside of the library. Master Gardener Lisa Reavers has asked me to invite you to come and start picking from our garden. Right now we have plenty of dill and some purple beans, and you might find some kale. Very soon, Lisa tells us, that there will be cucumbers to pick. Please come and help yourself. Currently, the library is offering no-contact curbside service and browse and go appointments if you'd like to come into the library and browse for your own materials and check out. Please call the library at 507-334-2089 if you would like to make an appointment for browse and go, or if you'd like to request materials for no-contact curbside service.
Hi, Dr. Michael Ritchie, Ritchie Eye Clinic. Thanks for joining me. So we're still in the midst of our COVID pandemic. That's why we wear the masks. But I'm going to talk about something different today. I want to talk about glaucoma. Now, we have covered glaucoma in the past, but there's always something new. So let's go over that. Quick review. Here's a picture of the eye. And it shows the normal anatomy of the eye, the cornea, the lens, and the retina. But it also shows in this green arrow that there is fluid that is produced in the eye right in this area. This area that produces the fluid goes all the way around. You can see it up there. The fluid circulates through the front part of the eye. Purpose of the fluid is to provide nutrition to the lens and the cornea. Then the fluid drains through this little drainage channel. Think of the drainage channel as a culvert that goes all the way around. And what we're going to do is take a look at the drainage channel in a magnified fashion. So here is our drainage channel. When we magnify the drain, we can see that it's covered by a meshwork of tissue. So the fluid that is going to drain has to get through the meshwork to get to the drain. In glaucoma, in the vast majority of people, the obstruction or the clogging is in the meshwork. So what this picture shows is a laser treatment where we're lasering the meshwork in the hopes of unclogging that and allowing fluid to drain more thoroughly. That's one of the techniques that we use to treat glaucoma. Now what we're doing is there's generally a concerted effort to try to control glaucoma with as few or no eye drops if possible. So we can do that with our laser treatment, but we also have a whole basket of new surgical procedures that are called Migs, minimally invasive glaucoma surgery. A MIG has a new meaning ever since Top Gun, when it used to be a Russian fighter pilot. But Migs in medical parlance are minimally invasive glaucoma surgeries. And what we're doing in these glaucoma surgeries is we are trying to open up the obstructions, we're trying to bypass the clogging, and we're trying to enhance the outflow. Well, the newest device is really slick. Now, everybody knows about stents for the heart. A stent is something that we put in to a clogged coronary artery to open the artery and increase perfusion, increase the blood flow. In glaucoma, we use the same idea. Now, what we can do with our stents is we try to bypass the obstruction and allow fluid access to the drain. So the newest stent is really slick, and I'm going to show you a model. This is a model of what the stent looks like. Now, this is obviously very large. The stent that we use is 8 millimeters long. And what this is going to do is we're going to thread this into the drainage system. So if I go back to this picture, surgically what I want to do is I want to take this stent and I want to thread it into the drain, and it's going to thread around, basically around the corner. It's going to go 90 degrees or a quarter of the way around the eye. And if you look at this, it is curvilinear in shape. It's like half of a tube, and it's got little holes in it to allow fluid to drain. And the best analogy I can give is, in the old days, I used to work on storm sewers. We used to replace storm sewers, and they were these clay pipes, and they would collapse, and the only way to fix them was to replace them completely. Well, things have gotten a little more sophisticated nowadays. When you have sewer pipes like that that are getting a little old, you can actually thread a liner in there and basically shore it up and open it up by putting this liner in and expanding it. That is probably the best way to think of how this works. That drainage channel has collapsed, and when it collapses, fluid doesn't drain efficiently. So what threading this through that does is it expands it to its full capacity. That increases, it not only increases the fluid's ability to get to the drain, it increases the efficiency of the drain. In fact, studies have shown that pressures in the eye go down immediately with placement of the Hydrus microstent, but they also continue to go down, so they're lower at 1 year than they are at 6 months after placement, and they're lower at 2 years than they were at 1 year. The best news is that 75 to 80% of people with a Hydrus stent placed effectively can control their glaucoma without eye drops. So, as we look at a goal of trying to control glaucoma with as few drops as possible, laser treatment and new minimally invasive glaucoma surgeries or new Migs like the Hydrus microstent are crucial steps in getting us to that goal. Once again, thanks for joining me.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm the pharmacy manager at Hy-Vee in Faribault. Today we're going to talk about what we don't want to talk about, which is flu shots. We're going to be starting our flu shot program in August here, and we're actually going to be offering you a very nice option so that you don't have to have any exposure to inside the store. A lot of people have been staying home and having relatives pick up their prescriptions, pick up their groceries, but you still need to get your flu shot this year, and maybe you don't want to come in all the way. So we're having an option where we're going to have drive-through flu clinics 3 days a week. So Monday in the morning, Thursday in the evening, and Saturday 10 to 2. You'll be able to come up in your car, park outside, we'll have a tent set up. You'll be able to get your flu shot safely outside with little contact with any of our staff. So if you have any questions, please call the pharmacy. We're also offering our 20-cent fuel saver on every flu shot this year again. So it'll be the same as every year. We'll be offering our flu shots as soon as they're available inside our store every day, every hour that we're open, but we'll be offering that outdoor option to you 3 days a week. So we'll have plenty of signage up, or you can give us a call and find out when those flu clinics are taking place. Also, it would be a good time to check and see if maybe you need some of your other vaccinations. Our shingles shots, we have plenty of those in stock. Pneumonia vaccinations and your tetanus shots are all things that you might need to be updated on. And maybe for the last 6 months, we haven't really been thinking about that. But it would be time to get that taken care of. If you're coming out for your flu shot, we can do those shots as well. And then you only have that one exposure to the public. So if you have any questions, please call the pharmacist at Hy-Vee and we'll help you out.
It's Molly with Riverbend Nature Center, here to tell you about some fun upcoming programs for August. On August 5th and 6th, we have our micro camps, geocaching, and compass course for 3rd through 8th graders. So come on out and learn a new skill. On August 10th and 11th, we have our Riverbend Olympics summer camp for 1st through 3rd graders. August 12th and 13th, we have our survival and tree detectives micro camps for 3rd through 5th graders. Learn how to identify trees or how to survive in the wild. August 17th and 18th, we have the Art of Nature summer camp for 1st through 3rd graders. That camp is full, but we'll be having some fun with nature-inspired art projects. August 19th and 20th, there's still a few spots left for Treasure Hunters summer camp for 3rd through 5th graders. You can come and enjoy Riverbend and search for that hidden treasure. On August 27th at 6 p.m., we have our adult book club. And this month it's Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. So learn about how sweetgrass is used in indigenous cultures, as well as the botany side. We also have stewardship days in August. On August 11th and 13th, we have buckthorn battles where you can come on out and help us in the fight against buckthorn at Riverbend. On August 24th and 28th, we have stewardship days, Are You Feeling Squirrely?, where we'll collect acorns to be used at a later planting. We also have some other updates on upcoming programs. The Maple Syrup Fun Run and Pancake Breakfast that was rescheduled for September 19th is now a virtual race, but you can still come on the 19th and pick up your pancakes to go, as well as your race bag. So check out our website for more information on that at rbnc.org/fun-run. We also have our Riverbend Ramble to look forward to. It's a week of events virtually. So check out our website about those events and how to get tickets at rbnc.org/ramble. Thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you have a great August and enjoy the beautiful weather.
Welcome to the Rice County Historical Society. My name is Sue Garwood and I'm the Executive Director. And I thought today it would be fun to introduce you to a new member of our staff. And so with me today is David Nichols. He is our curator. And Dave, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Sure.
And of course, most importantly, thank you so much for joining us at the Rice County Historical Society.
Well, happy to be here.
So I thought that if you wouldn't mind, we'll chat a little bit and you all can meet Dave, and then we can talk a little bit about the museum too.
Sure.
So, if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit about your background.
So I studied history and museum studies at Minnesota State down in Mankato. I've worked all over southern Minnesota. I started at Steele County doing some grant-funded projects for them there. And then I moved over to the Pottery Museum in Red Wing and worked with Goodhue County for about a year over there. And 2 years ago, I took the curator position up at Scott County, and I'm still over there, but then in March, I started here with Rice County, and I had started here really back in probably, November? I think
Right.
it was.
If you've watched us before, you'll know about our compact shelving grant, and our curator Amanda had shared with you all the project. Amanda left at the end of November, and we still had about 100 or a couple hundred hours, didn't we?
Yeah, I would say.
And David stepped in as experienced curator to help us finish that project, and we were impressed. We still went through the official hiring process. We interviewed, I think, 4, and once again, David rose clearly to the top, and we were grateful and excited to have you on board.
Well, and it was also nice to start a job where I already knew what I was working with.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Mankato is where you got your master's degree.
And my bachelor's degree.
Oh, okay. And before that, you came from Michigan, if I remember right?
Yep, so I was born and grew up in Warren, Michigan. It's one of the big suburbs off of Detroit. So I lived there with my parents until I was 12, and then we moved up north. I moved up north with my mom. After that, after graduating high school, I kind of shopped around for colleges, and my dad had moved out here, so he was telling me about MSU. I looked at their program, and they were just starting a museum studies program.
Okay.
And knowing that's kind of what I wanted to do, I went, sure, I'll give it a shot. And I've been here ever since.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with their program and the students who've come out of that program as well. And do I recall, Dave, that you actually had an internship with the Minnesota Historical Society for a short, I know their internships are short, they're
Yeah.
a couple month internships at most.
I actually did 2 with them.
Oh,
So
okay.
my first was as the assistant to the internship program. I was the assistant to the director of the internship program. And in the course of that, I got to meet David Grabitsky, who was at the time leading local history services, which is the field services office. And David and I got to know each other really well. He also went to Minnesota State, had the same professors that I did.
Okay.
So we very quickly found out him and I were on the same path. And so he kind of took me under his wing a little bit, and he and I kind of quickly threw together a internship doing a history of that department. And so at the same time that I was writing my thesis for my master's degree, I was also writing a 30-page article on the history of MHS at the same time. So I had no time to myself.
I'm sure.
For about 6 months, but it was a great opportunity. I got to learn all about how the county historical societies got set up, what their purpose was, their goals.
Yeah, and Rice County, again, just some of you may remember, Rice County is not one of the oldest, but we're kind of right in the middle there. I think Goodhue County is the oldest.
Goodhue County is the oldest.
And it was formed in 1860 something or another. Right
Just
after
after the state got official statehood.
before the Civil War, I
Yes.
think, yes. We, on the other hand, didn't get started until after World War I. We were started here in 1926. Still makes us 94 years
Yeah.
old. So it's not like we're young by any means, but still. Yeah, I also wanted to say David Grabitsky is one of many of MHS staff that has helped really all of the local history organizations, those of us out in the counties, helped support us, providing access to materials and so on. They're referred to the local history resource or outreach folks. So that's really neat because although we are geographically dispersed across the whole state, there's really a pretty finite number of us that are in the museum community. So once you know David, everybody knew David and all those kinds of things. So you have, since we're introducing ourselves, you also, in the midst of all of the things that you did at Mankato, you found a partner.
I did. I took a U.S. history class and I met my wife, who is always fond of telling me that her first thought of me when we had a class together was that I didn't know what I was talking about. And sometimes that's still true when it comes to my wife, but no, I was lucky enough to meet her. I met her right as I started my master's program, and for some reason she continues to put up with me 6 years later. So.
And you have a little one.
I do. I have a daughter, Addison. She's a year and a half and has far more energy than I do.
The little ones, they do keep you on your toes.
They do.
Yep, indeed. Yet they also make life pretty fun.
Yes, very much so.
And so now, I know what you've been doing, but why don't you share with folks, since you started here, I think your first day was March 3rd.
My first day, yeah, March 3rd or right around there. Since then, I'd say the biggest thing I've been doing is trying to get my feet under me and kind of learn the ropes at the same time that we were dealing with the first pandemic in a century. So, on-the-job training.
Right, so as you can imagine, trying to help connect you when we're not, even right now, when we are officially open to the public, we still are maintaining appropriate distance, face masks and all those sorts of things. But there was about 8 weeks there.
Yeah,
where you were on board, and you and I couldn't be in the same building together because we
Right.
were only allowed to have one person in the building at a time, only doing essential work.
Yeah, so luckily we were able to figure out
Yeah.
the work from home situation, which in a museum setting is not very easy, especially as a curator where your job is to look after the collection and the items in the building, and all of a sudden you can't be in the building.
Right.
So, but we were able to figure it out. We have a ever-growing digital collection.
As you can imagine with the digital collection, these are going to be things like today's, you take a photograph, it's a digital photograph, you download it to your computer. That is what's called born digital. It wasn't like a photograph that you got a print of and then you scanned it. This is something that its very first life, as it were, was digital. And as you can imagine, that's just, as David just said, that's the growing future of the collections.
Yeah, we're always getting more and more of that. People are opening up to the idea of letting us take sort of digital scans of, those very personal family photos that they might not want to completely donate, but it still gives us the chance to get them and share them. So Amanda, who was here before me, really started digging into the digital collections and putting it together and putting the policies in place. And then as I started, I got to actually start implementing them and putting all of our digital things in as best in order as I can. And that will be a forever project, I'm sure.
Probably.
But they're slowly coming together. And it also gave me a chance to learn about the organization, learn the history. We started doing daily posts on our Facebook page about just different things about the county, fun facts, history of different towns. And at the same time that I was trying to convey the history to everybody else, I was getting to learn it myself. So it was a good way to hide that I didn't know what I was talking about, as I got to learn what I was talking about.
That line from your wife does circle back,
exactly.
doesn't it? Yeah. But now you and I have both we've been back in the museum itself since middle of May.
Yeah.
And again, I know, but if you'd share with them, what have you been doing now that you've been under the roof?
Sure. So, as it's been mentioned, we had our shelving storage grant, but we still have a lot of our artifacts up in our old storage space. So we're slowly bringing those down, cleaning them, seeing what we have, what needs a little bit more attention, and everything is slowly getting put into our new collection storage room. Also, now we're able to take donations again, and we're able to start bringing more into the collection. So that's occupied quite a bit of my time, and trying to go through everything that was here before me. Amanda left in November, and I didn't start until March. So there was a few months of backlog that I've had to work my way through, that I'm finally digging my way out of. So that's occupied a lot of our time, but also just switching out exhibits and dealing with our buildings, trying to get all of those up and running.
Right.
We had a major revision of the roof.
Right.
So
that's the Harvest and Heritage Hall roof, which I think we talked about a few months ago. And I just realized that I should have mentioned earlier, although you've certainly stated it pretty directly, is that the curator, ultimately your job, your care, is all things within the collection, whether they are in storage, how they're cared for in boxes, how they are in exhibits, and even our buildings are part of the objects for which you have to. You don't do it on your own. None of us do any of this on our own.
No, absolutely not. But the buildings are certainly the largest objects that I have to take care of. And yes, so many moving parts. If it weren't for volunteers, nope.
Yep, exactly.
Too much for one man.
Exactly. So we focused on what you have been doing and a little bit about your background. As always, there's past, present, and future. So what are your thoughts for what's going to be occupying you in the upcoming months and possibly years?
Yes. Well, first and foremost is getting our collection moved. We've only just barely scratched the surface. We've got
And these are the artifacts that are
our
upstairs.
artifacts in our storage upstairs that need to come down into our new lovely shelving, as
Really
Amanda would
beautiful,
call
isn't
it.
Yeah.
Only we museum people look at shelves and get all excited.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're always looking for volunteers interested in working with the collection. We've got a lot of textiles, clothing, blankets, things like that need to come down, need to get some real love and attention paid to them before they go back. So we're always looking for anyone interested in helping out with that. And then one of the projects that we've just started is we got 2 new volunteers, I believe, that are helping us with digitizing our current collection. So taking scans of our photographs, of our documents, putting them together in a way so that when we need to do reproductions or if we need to do really close looks at photos, we don't have to keep damaging those.
Right.
The actual artifact, we can go to those digital copies, and it gives us more access, easier to share with everybody. So that's been a really big project that we're working on. We're really trying to get our collection more accessible to everybody, and anybody that's interested in helping, we encourage you to come on down and give us a call. I'm a very nice person to work with, I promise.
I agree completely.
So, but probably the thing that I'm most excited about is one of our new exhibits is going to be on the history of milling in Rice County. Not just flour milling, but sawmills, woolen mills, grist mills, any type of mill you can think of. We're going to try and showcase it in this exhibit. And so I'm just starting it. Hopefully in the next month or 2 we'll be able to really get it going.
And there are a surprising number of mills in Rice
There
County.
is a very surprising number of mills. I think the stat that I've seen is between Northfield and Faribault, there were 19 mills of all different kinds and forms.
Right, and that's just that part of Cannon Lake, because of course early mills primarily were water powered. So with
Right.
the Strait and the Cannon Rivers, that makes sense that there would be mills along them. But there were all kinds of mills south of Faribault and many mills between Faribault and Morristown. And
Yep. So there are so many, and I am going to do my best to talk about all of them as much as I can. So, you know, we're really trying to pull together as much information as we can about all of those, try and convey just how important that was to Rice County, because really, you know, that was the heart of the industry in the county toward the beginning there.
Absolutely. You know, I have gone up to Mill City Museum before, and if you listen really carefully, they talk about the flour industry as though it just sort of magically appeared in 1880. And prior to 1880, Rice County was the epicenter of flour milling in the state. And so it really is neat to have a chance to be able to present that history. Not that we aren't always happy to have a conversation, but if you're really looking forward to seeing that as part of an exhibit.
Yeah. So we're looking for any stories, any pictures, any bits and bobs you might have that are from the mills from all across the county. We're really open and we're really excited to bring that to you here, hopefully very soon.
I would second that, especially photographs or any stories, oral history stories, because sometimes the best history comes from that personal point of view.
Yes.
And what that experience was like. I can think of 1 or 2 who've talked about the old Scott's Mill, and it wasn't a mill anymore, but it was still a hangout. Whether legal or not, it was still a hangout, and there's some great stories to come out of that. So, and really, we're interested in the whole range of experiences.
Absolutely.
Dave, thank you again for joining me here, and I know that as we move forward, you will be the one who will give these programs and conversations at some point in time, depending.
That's the goal.
On the topic, excellent. And you mentioned, I'm just going to reiterate, if there's anybody interested in helping with the textiles, anybody interested in helping with any digitization, or anybody with a little piece of story about any one of the mills anywhere in Rice County, please give us a call. 507-332-2121. You can send us an email at rchs@rchistory.org. We're at 1814 Northwest 2nd Avenue on the east end of the Rice County Fairgrounds. We're open here Monday through Friday from 9 to 4 and Saturday from 10 to 2. You can also find us on the web at www.rchistory.org. Rice County Historical Society, preserving the past for future generations.
First United Bank and the Junior Board of Directors is proud to support Faribault Community Television.